Say what?
You get ball as well if you want.
Okay.
Are you centred there?
Hang on.
All right, fire away.
Yeah, I'll go first if that's okay. Hi, Reece, how are you?
Hi, very good, thank you.
Excellent. You've been back in the England squads for quite a while now, but I think this was your first T20 international since the 2016 World Cup against South Africa. It must be very pleasing to be back amongst it in another World Cup year for you.
Yeah, like you said, I've been around the squads. So yeah, that made it pretty easy for me to sort of fit back into things. I've been around the guys and training pretty well. So it was just more of the same. It was just taking that out into the middle. So credit to everyone for helping for such a seamless transition, to be honest. Yeah, the white ball squad's pretty similar in ODI and T20. So, being around that for the last few years has definitely helped.
It was obviously another highly eventful game. You bowled very well at the start. You could have had, I think, 3 wickets. But did you maybe take more pleasure from how you bowled that penultimate over?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, going for 8 in that penultimate over set it up for Saki to have an easier job. I don't know. I just try and isolate each ball, to be honest. So I don't really think about it too much. I just think one ball at a time, and yeah, you just do your job for the team. Then it was just shutting it down and not going for a 6 or a 4. To get 8 off the over was I think good effort. But then again, up top, when guys are coming hard, it's equally as exciting and sometimes challenging. So I don't really view it one way or the other. It's just isolating each ball and then committing to it at the end of your mark.
I mean, if you're effective at the death, is that a bit of a feather in your cap, given England have maybe struggled a little bit at the death recently in T20?
Yeah, but in my job in T20, bowling at the top and at the end, it's what I do. I think you got to just put yourself in the pressure scenarios. Like I said yesterday, it came off well, and then there's games where it doesn't. I think you have to keep the hunger, even in the games where it isn't falling your way. It's just the nature of the beast. You're in the pressure moments because it's where the games are won and lost. So I think you just can't shy away from that. You're going to be on the wrong side of some results, and you're going to be on the good side of some.
Lovely stuff. Thanks.
Reece, did you have? It was hard for us to see. Like, we were busy writing our reports. Everything was going mad at the end of the game. What, from your perspective, what was happening? What were you doing wrong as a team while those runs were being scored?
What I think happened, well, personally, I've been in that scenario, and I think you can just get wrapped up in everything, like, especially when you're away from home. The West Indies, obviously, they're behind the 8 ball for a lot of the innings, and the fans are quiet, and then suddenly some boundaries go towards the end, and they're all up out their seat, and the noise was amazing. I think you can I've been there before, where you just get wrapped up in it, to be honest. It's the pressure scenario. It's kind of the whole match becomes a match within a match, just those last few overs. And yeah, I think it's just important to, like I said, you have to isolate each ball. You have to forget what's happened before and just commit at the end of your mark. And that there's games where you're the good guy, and then there's games where you're the bad guy. It's just, I think the nature of being a guy that bowls at the death or bowls up the top in those key parts of the innings is, when it doesn't fall your way, you've got to get up the next day and be just as hungry for the game to be sort of put on your shoulders again.
It was. absolutely magnificent sport in the end. It was really thrilling. Like you say, the noise built in the ground. Were you enjoying yourself?
Was I what?
Were you enjoying yourself as that was happening? You
Yeah.
enjoy the sport when it goes a bit wild.
Oh, not when it comes down to one run at the end. But no, definitely enjoying it out here. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. I've never played cricket in the Caribbean before, and I mean the travelling fans. It's sort of been the first trip that we've had travelling fans back, and that's just missed it incredibly. It's so underrated, especially when some of them are in the same hotel and you see them around and you chat cricket with them and you feel it's just been missed over the last 2 years, honestly. I remember when we were warming up and we'd just jog down to the corner as a group and you get that welcome, a sort of reception from the Barmy Army that are in that corner. They all just give you a round of applause. It's just, it's been missed.
And talking of emotions again, you'll play your first game for basically 6 years. You get the guy who scored their half century in the first match with your second ball of the innings, and then that magnificent run out in your second over. What are your emotions at that point?
Pretty level-headed, to be honest. I don't think you can get too high, and then equally, I don't think you can get too low. It's tough to sort of describe it, but you just play the same game, or you trust your tactics. So I'm almost bowling the same balls that I have in training, that I have in playing for Surrey or playing for the 100, whatever. So just all you're doing is you're putting out there what you've practiced. So I don't really think too much about it, if I'm being honest.
So during the match, there's no emotions. It's just process.
Yeah, it's what I've done out here in training and etc. So it's just almost, you can take away the crowd, you can take away the batsman. You're just delivering the same ball that you did the day before on the same wicket, almost, if that makes sense. Yeah. Practice bowling on in the middle of the day before the game. I don't think much is different. It's just, there's a crowd in the scenario of the game. So I guess the narrative around the delivery changes, but I suppose the process is still important to keep that the same.
Thanks, Reece.
Reece, could you talk a little bit about what Morgs said to you before he gave you the new ball, and then particularly in terms of that penultimate over, the strategy going into that for yourself?
With the new ball, well, I played in a warm-up game and it was just basically more of the same. Trying to, like, up top, you got to try and take wickets, and if you don't take wickets, you just can't go for runs. It's pretty simple, to be honest. I think the key is not to overcomplicate it. And then Morgs set some funky fields. We're trying to get some wickets, and I think it was good. It was aggressive. It was how we play our cricket, I guess, in the white ball format. And then in the penultimate over, what he said to me, he didn't say much. We just discussed the field. But whenever you're bowling at the death, especially when you're trying to keep or stop a team chasing down your total, it's pretty simple. It's a dot or a one, and that's all you think about as a bowler. You don't think about a wicket, or you don't gamble for a wicket to potentially get hit for 6 or 4. You just think, how is this a dot? And then you almost take your wickets through the pressure. And I suppose if you keep your head in the pressure and you go dots and singles, then you'll be rewarded with your wickets, because I'm sure the batsman will be under the pressure then.
And it was a pretty brutal final over. Did you get a chance to speak to Saki Mahmood shortly after?
Nah, I don't know. Saki would he'd have spoken to coaches or whatever. It's not really my.
And I mean, just going back on yourself, obviously you've had a hell of a journey kind of moving away from the game and coming back. Was there a moment last night where you
No, the Wi-Fi I think's dropped that. Oh, hello?
you got me?
Okay, back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, like, was there a moment last night where you just took a step back after the game in the hotel and you just thought, like, I've had that journey where I thought I was going away from the game, I'll come back and I'm playing again for England, and this is exactly what I've always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think well, obviously, like, because I've probably had it slightly different than other people that play international cricket in terms of like the journey that I've had. I think my perspective is quite unique, and I think last night I don't know, I just sort of embrace all the emotion after the game, or all the messages, or whatever you want to call it. I just embrace it all, but then I'm very good at parking it. And this morning it's a new day, and it's all about recovery, and then tomorrow it's all focus on the third T20. I don't really get too caught up in it, and I think it's just I'm lucky to be playing, and I just really, really enjoyed it at the end of the day. And almost having this second opportunity, or it just makes me value it all a lot more.
Thanks, Reece.
Hi, Reece. How much does everything you've gone through help dealing with those high pressure situations, like needing 38 off 12? Does it make it that much easier, seeing as you've gone through some dark times before?
Yeah, because even when I've been injured so much, you'd almost bite someone's hand off to play in a T20 and bowl 4 overs for 40 something. And it's almost like, or at least I'm out there. So then those bad days, it's like, well, it won't be the last bad day I have. Just move on. And it's not like I haven't got this like competitive instinct. It's just I'm very realistic about things now, and yeah, very level-headed. And I think that has bode well for me since coming back and playing, because those pressure scenarios, like I just embrace them. I almost feel like it's normal to be nervous, and it's exciting because it's it's a game on the line for your country. It's like who wouldn't be nervous? So it's almost like it's normal, and I accept it. So I think that's the perspective that I'm pretty lucky to have stumbled upon, really.
You've mentioned in the past that during those difficult injury years that there was a bit of a lack of good bowling coaching going on around you in the county game. I was wondering if you could elaborate on what some of the problems have been in that regard, and as well some of the good coaching you've had as well. Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's like a blanket statement, across the county game there wasn't good bowling coaches. I worked with Spoons when I was young at Essex, and he was unbelievable with me. I've actually been lucky that I've been blessed with so many guys that have helped me along the way. Some not so much as well. It's just the nature of the beast. You have a relationship with certain coaches, and some you maybe don't have such a good rapport with. But stuff that's helped me along the way is just like you can accept failure, you can accept being hit for 6, you can accept being hit for 4, but I think what you can't accept, and what I've taken from coaches, is the process not being committed to. So if you at the top of your mark and you commit to bowling a Yorker 110%, and you don't, that's fine. But it's when you go in with half-hearted that it's almost disappointing, or the plan, you don't commit to the plan or the field you've set. I think that's what I've learned is that you just commit.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, Reece. Just for you as a player now, do you see your biggest asset as being able to take wickets with the new ball up top and swing the ball?
Yeah, but as a bowler, my currency is wickets. If you ask me, I'd say that I can take wickets at any stage and any format. It's, at the end of the day, it's what I get up in the morning for, is to try and get a batsman out. Essentially, it's why I fell in love with cricket. Yeah, I've forgotten the question, to be honest.
Sorry, yeah. In terms of your role on the side, do you see your best role as opening the bowling?
Yeah. I personally think if you can swing the ball up top, it's harder to hit a moving ball than a ball that's going straight, essentially. But yeah, taking wickets with the new ball is something that I think that I do. Yeah, I'll try and get a wicket whenever I get the opportunity, whenever I'm throwing the ball, to be honest.
And at times with the new ball, is it worth kind of gambling a little bit, because wickets are so valuable at the start of the innings?
Yeah, I mean, wickets are valuable at the start of the innings, especially when you've got some very good opening batsmen in world cricket. So taking their wicket with a new ball and utilising any movement is quite key. Also, I think there's a sign of intent. You set the tone for the rest of the innings, really. I think a poor first over compared to a good first over, you can almost sense it as a fan watching the game. You can see a change of intensity. So yeah, I think it is a crucial part of the game in that sense. Yeah.
Cheers, Reece. Well bowled.
Thanks.
We good? We'll leave it there then, fellas. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Training is 2 o'clock tomorrow, by the way. So we'll do something probably before then so that you can beat deadlines.
Cheers.
Thank you.
See you all.